Rev up your engines!
Welcome to Scotty Kilmer Live Car Talk Podcast, where I use my 52 years of fixing cars to answer all your questions. Just had a birthday, so now it's been 52 years. Ask your questions on the live chat, on the YouTube Live. I'll pick the best ones and give you an honest answer about it. Nobody's telling me to sell you stuff, putting money in my pocket. It's just experience and years of doing this stuff, and I like helping people out, just like my grandfather was a mechanic. But the internet didn't exist then, so he just told it to the people who came in the corner garage. Blackbird's Wrath says, do you think in the future the common sedan will be a thing of the past? In the long future, what's happening is the sedans are kind of evolving into SUVs. Give you a perfect example. My wife's '07 Toyota Matrix. It's a small SUV, right? But it's a Toyota Corolla. It's the same basic platform that a four-door Toyota Corolla has, but they put a different body on it. I imagine there'll be more and more SUVs just because they're handy. When I was young, they didn't have SUVs. They had station wagons, which served the same purpose. Only they were station wagons. They're actually longer. And now they're smaller, and they're higher up in the air, and they call them SUVs. They'll probably still make sedans here and there, but I gotta say, the SUVs are handy for a lot of stuff. With the backs that pop open, the seats that plop down, you can carry a lot of stuff in them. So I imagine they're gonna fade as time goes on. Some people probably always want the cars, but there isn't that much difference other than the sheet metal that's in the things and in the end result of it. Sam says, my TPMS light turned on. '08 Corolla, is it worth replacing? I've been driving a couple of years with no issues. If you want to have the tire pressure monitoring system, go ahead and change it. Personally, I find it an annoying system because the way it works is each one of your tires, and if you got a spare, the spare has one too. Inside the valve stem, it's a little broadcast station. It runs on a battery. Eventually, that battery wears out. To replace the valve stem, you gotta have a tire machine. Even I don't have a tire machine. I'm not a tire guy, I'm a mechanic. Even if I wanted to change my own, I'd have to take it to my tire guy. He'd have to take the tire off the rim, put a new stem in, put the tire on, and balance it. And do that 4 times and pay somebody for that. It's gonna cost you a reasonable amount of money. Me, tire pressure gauges cost nothing. $2, $10. Keep one in a glove box. Fill it up yourself every once in a while. That's what I do. Or, if you want, see some of my videos. They make aftermarket TPMS systems that what they do is they screw on the outside of your valve stem. So, if it goes bad, you just have to unscrew it and put one in. You don't have to take the tire apart. Plus, most of those have batteries that are replaceable once you unscrew it from the outside, so you don't have to take the tire apart and you can actually replace the battery. Most of the factory ones, you cannot replace a battery. You got to buy the whole thing. So maybe put one of those aftermarket ones. I've seen them as cheap as like $50 and they work fine. Daniel Bruni says, my '05 Honda Accord has a high-pitched hum when the engine runs. It continues for a few seconds and shuts off. Any reason why? What would be the problem? You got to pinpoint noises. First thing with that would be take off the fan belts. Start it up, the noise goes away. It's something the fan belts run. Often, that's a worn alternator or a worn air conditioning compressor. They'll often hum. Do that. Now pray the noise goes away. If it doesn't, then the humming can be inside your automatic transmission. And Honda Accords have weak automatic transmissions. Once they start humming, it usually means there's bearing wear inside of the transmission, and overhauling those things is a ton because they're not like a car transmission. They're more like a motorcycle transmission. They don't have an oil pan on them. You got to split the cases to get inside them, which is just super expensive. Edward Cedillo says, my '05 Liberty has no heat. The engine temperature is fine. It's an '05, so it's reasonably modern. Realize that all modern heating and air conditioning systems of cars are run by computers. In the old days, I was a young mechanic, heating systems and air conditioners were simple. The heating system had a slide. You'd grab it and you slide it one way or the other. The slide was connected to a cable. The cable would either open the heater core to give you full heat or close it and have no heat. Well, all the modern cars, practically every single one of them, the heater core is always running full blast. It's always got hot water in it. But there are what are called blend doors, and the doors are shut, and you don't get any heat, and as the doors open up, you get heat. That opening is all done by computer and electric motors. You probably have a problem with that system. Can be an absolute cow to work on. You got to find a guy like me with a dealer level scan tool that can do bidirectional testing, so we can say command doors to open, and then you look at the door commands and see if the doors actually have opened. You can all do this with a computer and then figure out what's wrong. It's often bad blend doors on those things. Man, that's expensive, tearing those dashes apart on Jeeps. 21 Cabbage says, Scotty, I hear a squeaking sound on the right side of my engine. When I press my clutch, it stops. I got a 2012 WRX. You probably got a throw-out bearing going on the clutch, but in order to replace any of those parts, you got to pull the transmission off, which is a super expensive job. If it works okay and you don't have any problem shifting, drive it that way. Don't just replace one part. Buy a whole clutch kit. Replace every single part on it, so then you don't have to do it for a really long time. Whenever you do clutch work, don't just say, oh, I'll just replace the throw-out bearing or the clutch plate or the disc. I mean, you got to replace all of them, and then you don't have to think about it because it's so expensive. Pulling the transmission off, or if you do it yourself, it's such a pain in the rear end, you don't want to do it twice in a short period of time. Genesis G90 says, Scotty, what do you think about buying a Fiat 500 Abarth for my first car? Pretty much they pulled them out of the United States. They're not selling the 500s anymore. That was their faster one that has the Alfa Romeo engine instead of the Fiat engine. Was a little bit quicker, but it's still a Fiat, so it's kind of a rolling pile of junk. But since they pulled out, you can probably get one pretty cheap. And if you want a toy to zoom around in and you can buy it cheap, go ahead. Don't pay much money for it. They're worth nothing in the United States these days. You want a little car like that, you don't mind how bumpy the ride is, and you can get one cheap, it could be a fun toy. Just don't think you can buy something like that, put 20,000 miles a year on it. It'll fall apart if you do that. CW says, Scotty, what do you think about a 1500 Dodge Ram? Is it a good investment? No. No Dodge product is a good investment. They all go down in value really fast. All cars basically do, even Toyota. The Dodges go down really fast because they have quality control problems. Everyone knows it. It's not a good investment. It's one of the worst investments you could make. If you want a good vehicle, think of a Toyota or Honda you can drive for years and years and years, but don't think any Dodge product is going to be a good investment. They're all horrible investments. Ethan Baker says, Scotty, are Cummings engines any good? Yeah, they make great diesel engines. They make good diesel engines. They always did. I believe that you can get that new Nissan Titan with a Cummings engine. I'm not a fan of Nissan, but Cummings making the engines, they'll be good engines. That's why I said in my video I made the other day, the Titans are not bad pickup trucks. They're pretty good pickup trucks. I don't like the rest of the Nissans, but they're pretty good pickup trucks. They're never going to be in the range of F-150s and the American pickup trucks that spend a fortune advertising, and they've got decades of people that are fans of them. But with a Cummings engine, it'd probably be a decent pickup truck to get. Paul Silverman says, did Scotty's car break down on the way to the show? Well, no, that's an impossibility for two reasons. One, I got a 94 Celica, and the thing never breaks down. And two, I broadcast it out of my own house. The garage is right over there. I don't go anywhere. When I wake up, I'm at work, I'm at the office, I'm at my broadcast, and I'm at my filming studio. It's all in the same place at my house. So you don't have to worry about me. The only thing you got to worry about is electricity. And I'm sort of prepared for that. Whenever it does go out, a bunch of power inverters, and I can run the internet off of that. I can run cameras off of it. I can even run the lights, but I really don't have to worry about the lights because the lights are LEDs. I'm prepared. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.